Hi, this is Jörn right from the off. Due to operational security, in this particular podcast, we had to use a different platform. So excuse the somewhat poor video quality, but we make it up for you with a world-class translator. So enjoy. Hello and welcome to the Heilige Stuhl, the podcast with Alex and Jörn. And today we have a video podcast again with a very special guest coming from Ukraine. Today with us is Petro, and our absolutely lovely and charming translator Victoria from Ukraine is here as well. And as you guys notice, it is a bit of an unusual podcast for us because we are working with a translator. But nonetheless, super important podcast because our goal today is to shed some light of what is going on over there that maybe is not specifically shown in our mainstream media here in Germany and the West, and just have a nice conversation and maybe gain some information for you guys out there that you might not have heard of. So a very warm welcome, Alex, Victoria, Petro, and to myself.
So,
And I start with my first question to Petro. Petro, how are you doing today? And you're in Kiev. Did I understand that correctly?
Карпатах.
now I'm in the Carpathians
Oh, Carpathian Mountains.
Yeah.
Actually.
at home.
Okay, so interesting follow-up questions. Since we Germans have no idea where that actually is, maybe you can tell something about the Carpathians. Is it like cold, warm, nice weather? Like what's the charm of the Carpathians? Because honestly, personally, I don't know.
Це Західна Україна, Закарпатська область, Івано-Франківська, Львівська і частину Чернівецької області. Через неї проходять Карпати. Вони тягнуться в сторону Словаччини до Альпів.
Yeah, the Carpathians occupy the western part of Ukraine. It's the Carpathia, Ivano-Frankivsk, Lviv, and Chernivtsi region. Then they go to Slovakia and on through across Europe up to the Alps. So it's basically a European mountain chain.
Okay, understood. And mountain chain in terms of skiing or mountain chain in terms of we're sitting in a nice wooden hut with cocoa?
Ну, скажімо так, кататися на лижах в цих горах можуть лише ті, хто більш-менш професійно катається, тому що тут схили йдуть більше 25-30 градусів. І якщо це новачок катається, то зазвичай воно закінчується травматологією.
Well, actually, as for skiing, as for skiing, you have to be really professional, skillful in skiing, because the angle of the declination of the mountains, of the slopes, is 20-30 degrees. So for freshmen, it can sometimes end up at the trauma division of the hospital.
Understood.
Набагато краще вже просто в горах приїхати, подихати свіжим повітрям, побачити вершини Карпат. Особливо це дуже гарно виглядає ранком, коли піднімається туман, сходить сонце.
But they are really beautiful in terms of recreation, in terms of having some rest and positive experience. The mountains are especially beautiful in the morning when the fog comes up and you can see the sun shining. It's really marvelous. We live in a beautiful area.
I can believe this.
Та, я
Also,
можу уявити.
there is a saying we use in Germany as well, I think, like home is where the heart lies.
Так.
Something like this.
Yeah.
So, but unfortunately, to our viewers, obviously, Petro is not living there full time. He has another occupation as well. And why he's here? So my question would be just question for you, Victoria. I'm allowed to ask that he's a drone pilot, obviously, right? That is acceptable for me to ask?
Можемо.
Of course.
Okay. So obviously Petro is a drone pilot, and my question would be how do you end up being a drone pilot? Because obviously there are many different jobs one can take in the military. How did that happen?
23-й рік, наше останнє відрядження до Бахмуту. На власні очі переконався на тому ж, як дрони змінюють хід війни. Це і аеророзвідка, і нанесення ураження.
In 2023 was my last mission in Bakhmut, and with my own eyes I could see that drones are changing the nature of war, both as civilians drones and also attack drones, so I could experience it myself.
So personal interest, basically, that got him
Тобто
there.
це ваш особистий інтерес, особиста зацікавленість.
Так, особиста зацікавленість.
Yes, personal interest, you can say so.
And would he say that basically the whole drone situation has changed over the last 2 years and got more sophisticated, basically, or is it more or less the same standard that we saw for 2 years now?
Ситуація, скажімо так, міняється фактично кожні 2-3 місяці.
The situation is very dynamic. It's changing every 2-3 months.
Тому що дрони постійно модернізовуються, виходять нові прошивки, нові типи бомб, антени, все змінюється.
Everything is changing, new software, new data, new types of explosives, new types of antennas and everything. So everything is changing dynamically in terms of drone construction and their usage.
And
зараз у нас, наприклад, сапери, щоб не виходять розміновувати дорогу. Вони вилітають дроном, знаходять міну, роблять на неї скид, таким чином знешкоджують міну.
So, for example, our sappers, they don't go into the field to unmine it. They simply use a drone. They drop an explosive. They drop weight over the mine. It gets exploded, and thus they are clarifying fields.
Okay, understood. And would he say, last question from my part, then Alex can ask some questions. Would he say that basically now he has to basically read a new manual every 2-3 months as well, because technology changes so fast and he has to invest a huge time in learning new stuff? Or is it basically more or less the same job?
Функція залишається плюс-мінус одинаковою, просто кожен, хто пов'язаний з БПЛА, вдосконалюється. Чому вдосконалюється? Тому що вдосконалюючись, в першу чергу ми уникаємо лишніх втрат дронів, вчимося обходити ворожий реп, знаходити коридори, правильно коригувати роботу артилерії, підтримувати нашу піхоту і забезпечувати піхоту найнеобхіднішим у критичних ситуаціях.
The job in general is more or less the same, but our skills as pilots have to develop regularly. You have to be really skillful and to know how to cover our soldiers, how to secure the effective fight, how to find corridors for your drones and guide them correctly, how to avoid enemies, electronic warfare and stuff like that. So it's more about personal skills. than generally new knowledge.
Okay, understood. Alex.
Yeah, thank you. My question would be, I mentioned that I was in the military for some time of my life, and the way the battlefield is structured was quite static when I was a soldier. So the artillery is 1/3 of their firing range behind the front line, and you have areas where you have a relative safety. Has this changed in the war in Ukraine? Are there safe spots for the troops, or are you constantly under pressure by drone forces?
В даних умовах війни безпечних місць немає.
In the given, я буду I will translate with small portions so that we don't lose the general context. Невеличкими порціями, щоб ми не втратили цінну інформацію. Actually, today, in the current war, there are no safe places.
Ворог відпрацьовує по нас градами, артою. Якщо ми знаходимося, наші бази знаходяться за межами досяжності артилерії ворожої, вони відпрацьовують зазвичай півтонними кабами.
As a rule, the enemy is shooting at us with grads and with artillery. If we are beyond the range of artillery reach, then they use the guided aerial bombs.
Okay. So you have constant pressure. In fact, there's no rest when you're at the front line.
Немає, тому що постійно, якщо ти маєш вихідний, ти готуєшся. Або проводиш підготовку. У випадку, якщо не проводиш підготовку, отримуєш якісь запасні частини, допомагаєш хлопцям готувати, перевозити, підвозити.
Now there's no break and constant pressure. Apart from being shelled all the time, you are also busy all the time. Even if you have a day off, you are either training, you're gaining new skills, or you help the guys with electronics, with fixing something, stuff like that. So you are busy all the time.
Останнім часом ми дуже багато почали використовувати деталі, які друкуються на 3D-друку.
Recently, we've started to use lots of spare parts which are printed on 3D printers.
Okay, that's very interesting. So you are evolving the technology yourself on the battlefield.
У більшості варіантів це так.
Yeah, in most of the cases it is really so.
Okay. Very, very interesting, because it's quite the opposite of how traditional military works, with large armies, long lines for logistics, and buying tanks from everywhere in the world, which takes months or years. So it's not only the battlefield, but also the whole logistics process is changing.
Так, з розвитком безпілотників зараз дуже під серйозним питанням стоїть логістика в межах 30-40 кілометрів від лінії розмежування.
Well, actually, with the development of drones development, there's a very big issue now about logistics, which is like 30 kilometers from the contracting line to that area. It's complicated because of drone activity.
Yeah, okay.
My next question would be to him personally, so to speak, in his opinion, because does he personally think that we, let's say the West, for example, Europe specifically, is doing enough to support them? Or should we ramp up the support? And if yes, what does basically the soldier on the front line actually need? Basically, is it sufficient what we do, or do they need something entirely different?
Скажімо так, на жаль, про всю допомогу до нас не доводять інформацію. Тобто є те, що ми знаємо, що ми отримали, і є те, що в дорозі. І ми ще про його існування не знаємо. Так що на дане питання я не можу, на жаль, дати якусь конкретну відповідь.
Petro is hesitant as for answering this question. He says that probably he can't speak for Ukraine in general because he doesn't know what is already underway, what kind of help. He can only see what arrives to his unit. So he knows only about a small part of the whole aid that we receive from the world. So he doesn't have an answer to this question.
Okay,
he doesn't have a big picture.
So I'll make it more specific to him, easier to answer. If he had a choice and basically, let's say somebody in relevance in the German government is listening to the podcast, what would he need us to send them? Like if he had a choice.
Ну, єдине, що можу сказати, якщо ми програємо, то війна піде в Європу.
What I really want to say is that if Ukraine loses this war, the war will go to Europe, to EU.
Yes.
Yes, that's
And you can I know that let's say in news you only hear politicians, but I would argue that a lot of people in Germany at least are very well aware of that, even though on a political level it might seem differently, but now we have had, let's say, strong drone activities over our airports, and I think the awareness in public is very clear at the moment that this is the case.
Ну, це, скоріше за все, пішло після того, як 18 шахедів без боєзаряду покружляло на території Польщі.
Yeah, it's probably is happening after 18 Shaheds were circling around Poland. So it was a sign.
Yes.
yes.
Well, usually politicians have to learn the hard way. Probably, at least more.
Unfortunately, yeah.
So a more specific question from my side again.
Знову
Now,
більш конкретне питання від мене.
Is it like the whole drone operating for him personally? Does he found his sort of thing that he thinks he's best at? Or does he basically, is it interesting at the moment, but that it might be changed in the future for him personally? Or would you say like, yeah, I love drones, this is exactly the right job?
Скажу так відверто, з самого початку вона мені це дуже не подобало. І не подобається.
To be honest, I didn't like it since very beginning and don't like it at the moment.
Hey, fair enough. That's fine as well.
Ну, головне, що це правда. Головне, що ви кажете правду. Так буває.
Просто коли артилерист стріляє, він не бачить результатів роботи. А тут ти бачиш результати роботи.
When an artilleryman is shooting, he doesn't see the results of his work. And here you can see your result.
Yes.
Okay, Alex, this is I think this is something for you to comment on.
Yeah, I was an artillery officer for some time of my service, so I know exactly what you're saying, or I know what you mean.
Yeah,
one thing that would really interest me would be, what would you do if the war ended today? So I know soldiers always have hopes for the future. You can't fight if you do not have something in mind what you want to do after the war. What would it be for you?
Досить цікаве питання. Якось над ним не задумувався.
But I've never thought about it.
You never? Okay.
Просто ця війна надовго.
Because I feel that this war is for long.
Oh, that's hard.
Yeah.
Та, ну це дуже складно. Та.
So is that the general mood along his unit, basically, that most people think this will go on for years, or is there any hope that they think, oh, now with Trump, there might be some weird, strange way we didn't see coming that this might end?
Враховуючи ситуацію, яка в нас є, те, що війна продовжується вже більше, велике вторгнення продовжується більше 3,5 років, ту кількість ворожих солдатів, яку кидається на нас, війна надовго. І, наприклад, якщо навіть Трамп щось, скажімо так, вплине, це буде ще продовжуватися як мінімум місяць-два, скажімо так, такі важкі позиційні бої.
Well, based on the fact that large-scale invasion is already lasting for over 3.5 years, looking of how much manpower the enemy is throwing at us, looking at how intensive the fights are, I would say it's for years. They are prepared to fight for years longer. Even if something happens now and some peace or pause will be reached, it won't stop immediately. It will still last. The intensive phase will still last for several months after.
Understood. So, well, I do have a question, but I know it's very difficult to answer, and maybe he's not willing or able to answer, but I ask anyway, right? It's like, how does he see, does it end? Like with Ukrainian victory, is that the only way that basically we have to give you every weapon at our arsenal and the Russians have to be beaten? It's the only way out? Or does he see any other way?
Справа в тому, що, як показує Перша і Друга Чеченська війна, тобто, якщо ми зараз дамо невеличку передишку, вони відмобілізовуються, відновлять виробництво, відновлять втрати, підучать нову армію. Рік-два вони підуть далі з новою силою. Вони зроблять висновки по цим помилкам, які в них у даний момент є.
Well, both Chechen wars, Chechen War 1 and 2, show us a great example of what might happen. It's a scenario that we might suffer. If we give them a break, they will use this year or two just to restore their power, to rebuild their facilities, to produce more weapons, and then they will attack us with bigger strength, bigger force. So it's inevitable that they will, if it's not a complete victory, not a complete ceasefire, let's say, then if it's just a break, they will attack us unexpectedly again. It won't be the end.
So essentially, to summarize for myself, Ukraine and its Western allies have to put so much pressure on the Russians that it might not be a defeat, but the losses on the Russian side is so big that they essentially have to retreat, so to speak.
Так.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, understood. Alex?
Yeah.
You're the military expert. I'm just asking common sense questions.
Yeah, the Western analysis on the military level are, I think they're the same. So I have nothing to add, and I do not have a question to lighten up the mood because it's a very serious issue.
На жаль, так.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's right.
I do have a question, Alex, if you like.
Yeah, thanks a lot. I'm
Alex is still stunned. How would, like, obviously I mentioned that nowadays we have like drones over our airports and we have Russian fighters and bombers, basically intrusions into NATO airspace. How we have many discussions, right? Some German politicians just say shoot them down. How does he think Germany should react if we have like drones from Russia like over our airports? Should we shoot them down and like interfere more proactively, or more diplomatically?
Ну, я б сказав, що можна зробити набагато проще. Є система ребу, і можна цими реб-системами просто-напросто збивати, відшивати відеосигнал, глушити ворожі дрони.
Well, I have an easier solution for you. You can use the electronic warfare systems and simply subdue the signal and put them down in the air. So it's such a solution would be possible.
Yes, and ironically, as far as I understand it, nowadays people ask the Ukrainians for help regarding exactly this, because now you are the most experienced country regarding drones in all of Europe. So ironically, now the Germans ask you for help.
Ну, навіть не знаю, що на це відповісти. У нас поки що потрібно тримати фронт.
Well, I don't know what to say. So far, we are busy holding the front line.
Yes, yes, that's true. That's enough. That's enough trouble as it is. I get it.
Вам і так достатньо проблем. Я розумію.
Yes. So, as an intermezzo, basically, and most likely he hasn't, but I'm obliged to ask him, does he have anything he wants to talk about, or questions, or any topic that is close to his heart that he wants to mention?
Ну, давайте поки що без коментарів.
Okay, no further comments so far.
Yes, I figured. That's why I gave my intro to that. But I at least have to give him the opportunity. Otherwise,
Так, я це зрозумів, але я мусив дати вам можливість висказатися, запропонувати.
Alex, do you want to ask something? You look so asking.
Yeah, I'm always looking asking. So yes, I have a further question. We talked about the Russian intent in the Ukraine and the prediction for the future. I think what's hard to understand for many people in Western Europe, and especially in Germany, is the mindset of the Russians and the strength of the will to conquer Ukraine. How strong is it? It's not. It's sometimes we have the feeling that's not rational what's happening there, because what can Russia win in Ukraine? I know why. I think I know why this is happening from the Russian mind. But could you just explain us what's going on in the heads of the Russians that are planning this, doing this?
Як можна їх прокоментувати? Ну, спостерігаючи за їхніми діями, поведінкою, досить часто бачиться така ситуація, що вони постійно щось хочуть змародерити. З цивільних будинків неодноразові є випадки, що вони мародерять навіть з своїх трупів.
Well, looking at them from my own experience, what I really see is looting villages, looting all the houses when they enter the village, and they even loot the dead bodies of their own soldiers. So it's their specific feature.
Mm. So he said, let's put it from my perspective. So what he's saying is they're, I wouldn't say reverting back to the worst human instincts in the field, so to speak?
Можливо і так, а можливо це наслідок того, що в основному вони зараз відправляють тих, хто відбуває покарання, тих, хто має невиліковані хвороби, вони йдуть в одну сторону, і вони прекрасно, думаю, розуміють, що якщо вони повернуться, то хоча б з чимось, щоб повернулися.
Well, you can say so, but also we have to look at who these people are who now in Russian army. They mostly send there the people who are released from prison, or the people who have terminal diseases. so they are uncurable. And if they manage to return home, they don't want to return empty-handed. So it's just when they go to when they join the Russian military, they get one-way ticket. It's like they are sent to death. If they are lucky to survive, they want to survive with something material in their hands.
So what's he essentially saying is basically anything they loot, the Russian military lets them keep.
Ну, скажімо так, підтвердити це я не можу, але це те, що ми бачимо постійно.
I can't confirm what really happens after they loot it, but that's what we see.
Okay, understood. Yes, I like his answers, very diplomatic.
Мені подобаються ваші відповіді, дуже дипломатичні.
Yes, by nature. But generally, would he say, like, obviously he's being in this since the very beginning, more or less, right?
Тобто,
Так, з 26 лютого 22 року.
from the 26th of February 2022, from the second day.
So would he say, like he mentioned already, like the kind of people nowadays who are on, let's say, on the Russian front lines, would he say that it's like the quality of the Russian army is significantly going down constantly because they're throwing in conscripts and those kind of people? Or is it basically they still have the manpower behind this, so to speak, some high quality stuff behind it? Or is it like just there's just throwing bodies at them, essentially?
Справа в тому, що наскільки я зробив для себе висновок, наперед вони випускають, скажімо так, м'ясо, щоб виснажити нашу оборону, а вже потім запускають більш-менш підготовлених бійців.
Well, as I can say from my experience throughout these years, at first they throw, let's say, gun machine meat, and then the more qualified troops enter the territory for more skillful operations.
Okay, understood. Because obviously I have to emphasize, I would say that the general German population lacks the imagination, like Alex says, that those kind of things are even possible. Like for the average person here, they cannot imagine something like this. I guess Alex agrees with me.
Yes,
No,
I would agree.
Ну, я притримуюсь цієї думки, що, скоріш за все, радянська школа військова, вона збереглася ще з часів Другої світової війни. Тобто на штурм кидають величезну кількість людей і не рахуються з втратами.
Well, it's actually old Soviet military school, which was preserved since the Second World War, these practices. So during the attacks, they are throwing enormous number of people. They don't count with their lives, with what's actually happening to them. They're just throwing them as meat to attack. So it's still old school.
Unfortunately, history repeats itself, I guess.
На жаль, історія повторюється.
Ну, історія взагалі йде по кругу.
Yeah, the history is in general going in circles.
Yeah.
Sometimes seems that way, yes.
Yes.
Так, здається, що так і.
So, I would ask you, Victoria, by the way, since you're in the cast as well, what's your opinion on this? I mean, obviously you're translating, not being able to give your opinion. Maybe you can explain to Petro that I ask you that I want your input as well.
My opinion on what exactly? On war of drones, I only know that we as volunteer teams, we have to provide as much as we can. On the perspectives, I don't see any any development at the moment. So I think that all these political games which are taking place at the moment and which are staged by Putin and Trump, they will not lead to anything. Not now, not these meetings. But we still hope for a future. We need our guys back home. We need our territories back, and we need our civilian cities being stop bombed, because it's unbelievable that for many Ukrainians there will be no tomorrow. Even tonight can be the last night for any of us, and it's unfair.
So, and in the last 5 minutes, I want to give you again opportunity to address directly our audience, basically, and or whoever is listening. Like I would ask you as well, Victoria, if you can talk directly to the German audience and or politicians here in Germany, what do you want to say to them? Like, what's important? What should they do? How should they help in your personal perspective, not on the grand theme of skill? And after you ask, I will ask Petro again. Maybe he has to add something. If not, fine, we will cut it out.
Well, guys, don't forget that we are holding not only the front of Ukraine, but the front lines of the free world. Not only EU, but everything what collective West is. All our shared values, all our shared principles are now at stake. If we fall, the whole democratic, liberal world will fall. And what our guys are doing there, it's enormous. It's really heroic. We do admire them. Don't listen to Russian propaganda, please.
Okay.
Yes.
And that includes some German official parties, I guess, which will rename lameness here.
Yeah. But everyone understands what we mean.
Yeah. Yes. Does Petro want to add something for the audience from his perspective as well, or is he good?
Навіть не знаю, як це висловитися. Ну, є таке хороше прислів'я. Потрібно вчитися на помилках і робити з цього висновки. У нас багато помилок було допущено, маємо втрати. У вас є час зробити висновки, підготуватися і, скажімо, якщо ви нам більше будете допомагати, можливо, війна не дійде до кордонів ЄС.
Well, we have such a saying that you should learn from your mistakes, right? We made lots of mistakes. Probably that's why our losses are quite high. You have time. You have us as an example. You can make conclusions and avoid our mistakes. And if you help Ukraine enough, probably the war won't reach the borders of the EU.
I guess that's a powerful last statement for the podcast, which I will close now. And I thank everybody who has been helping here. Victoria, Petro, thank you very much for coming here, investing your valuable time talking to us strange Germans.
Yeah, danke. Yeah.
Yes, that was actually surprisingly well, Victoria. Not bad.
It was... Дуже дякуємо, Петро. Це була дуже гарна підсумкова фраза. So you are not recording anymore, right?
In about 5 seconds. Usually I give everybody the last chance to say goodbye or say anything. You want to add something, Alex?
No, I'm fine. I'm totally shocked.
So I'll close the podcast and thank you guys for watching. And if you want to help those guys out, Victoria and Petro, obviously, I will put some links in the description. I'm very sure Victoria will provide me with anything that will help them, and just click on it or talk to Victoria directly via LinkedIn. I'll provide all the data, and everybody who can watch this can make a small impact if he or she wants. And I'll leave it with that.
Героям слава.